afternoon, Liberty. Welcome to the second semester SR&R review. That's our students' rights and responsibilities. I'm your assistant principal, Mr. Hall.
I'm Miss Lissy.
I'm Mr. Coulter.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there's a couple things that you have to do when you start your day. Right? Being responsible. You're responsible as soon as you walk out that door at your home, and when you get to Liberty, and until you get back at home. One of the first things that you need to do is make sure you come into the building, you're going directly to your lockers, getting all your materials that you need, and then head to the class with a book to read. Okay, so we're going to class as soon as you get into the building. That doesn't mean when the 7:20 bell rings that you should be basically in the class by then. All right, so make sure you have a book. Quick reminder that we have our 3 R's: being responsible, respectful, and right on time. Right? When we're responsible, making sure you're getting to school to and from safely, that's when you leave the house and when you get back home. As soon as you get to Liberty, ladies and gentlemen, you got to go to your lockers, make sure you have a book to read, and then you're reporting to class. You can get an extra 10 to 15 minutes every single day. That means 30 minutes to an hour a week of extra reading time. So make sure you have a book. If you don't have one, every class has extras. All right? The next part. Respect. Being respectful to others. That means your peers and the adults in the building. Right? Be respectful to personal property. Property of the school, the technology, the lockers, the restrooms, the school bus, your desks, chairs, all that. If you see something or somebody doing something inappropriate, please make sure you tell someone. Make sure you're using respectful body language and attitude and tone. Those 3 things go together in a real quick way, especially if you're having a conflict with somebody. And so we're able to work together to move on and making sure adults are using the same thing with you, and you're using those things, the body language and tone and attitude towards others appropriately. All right? We have a couple of things that we do not have any wiggle room on. Those are our deal breakers. Backpacks in lion time or in the classroom. Those are not allowed. Running in the hallways, ladies and gentlemen. We have a crowded school. Running is someone is going to get hurt, so please, no running. Loud voices, especially during class change and during 5th period and lunches. Walking down the hallways using a calm voice is going to be greatly appreciated, especially for those students that are still in the classroom. Right? Making sure you're on class on time. Tardiness. Ladies and gentlemen, 4 tardies is going to get you a referral to your administrator, and then you're going to have an administrative consequence. So please make sure you get to class on time. And lastly, cell phones, ladies and gentlemen. No cell phones allowed in the hallways or the cafeteria. That's including your earbuds. Pull them out. Put them in your pocket. Right? Cell phones and earbuds are only to be allowed in the classroom when given permission by the teacher. Right? The planner, ladies and gentlemen. You must have a planner when you're transitioning between classes, if you're going to the restroom, or anytime you're asked to leave the hallway. You should have one of these, writing your agenda and your daily notes and your assignments in there. If you lose one, you can replace it for $6 in the main office. Okay? If you do not have a hall pass, an adult may stop you and send you back to where you came from. If you do not have a lunch pass to go see a teacher, you're not going to be allowed to leave the cafeteria. So please make sure you have all the passes and agenda signed when you come down there. And the next thing, the 10-10 rule, ladies and gentlemen. When you, if you need to go to the restroom, make sure you go between classes, because students are not allowed to leave the classroom the first 10 minutes or the last 10 minutes of class. All right? So obviously there may be some exceptions for emergency situations, and that's going to be up to your teacher. But in a general rule, the first 10 minutes, the last 10 minutes, you must stay in the classroom.
Good afternoon. I'd like to start with talking about keeping your hands to yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, keep your hands to yourself. We don't want to hear, oh, we're just fooling around, all right, or just playing around. Goes for the chest game, the neck game, pantsing, slapping, all right. Keep your hands to yourself. Touching others inappropriately can lead to suspension or, far worse, referral to the division superintendent. Remember to refrain from horseplay, kicking, or fighting. Several things that are forbidden or prohibited or not allowed here at Liberty Middle School. Weapons, knives, marijuana, alcohol, distribution of drugs. As Mr. Hall said earlier, if you see something, say something. Let an adult know if you see any of those. Mandatory referrals to the division superintendent would be having distributing or possession of marijuana or assault or even sexual assault. Ladies and gentlemen, our bus behavior, all right? The bus is an extension of the school, okay? Obey the driver at all times. Every time you get out of your seat or you are misbehaving, you are taking the driver's eyes off the road. Their eyes go from the road up to the mirror. In those couple seconds that the driver's looking at you in the mirror, an accident could happen. It only takes a few seconds, ladies and gentlemen. So when you're up clowning around or acting foolish, you're jeopardizing the safety of all the other students on your bus. Keep your voices down, clean up after yourself on the bus, and remember, littering and defacing the bus will have consequences. Riding the bus, ladies and gentlemen, is a privilege, okay? It is not a right. And the SR&R applies to all students on the way to and from school. Consequences could lead to suspension from the bus or loss of privileges. Cafeteria. Only 10 students at a time in the lunch line. Once again, only 10 students at a time in the lunch line. Pick a table, stay at that table. If your number is called for cleanup, don't be immature, don't be switching seats, all right? We have the wheel system, it's a fair system. If your number is called, the expectation is that you clean up, either washing the table or sweeping the floor. Cell phones are also prohibited in the cafeteria. Cutting in line, stealing, making a mess, or horseplay. All things that are prohibited in the cafeteria. The weather will be turning very nice here shortly. Those tables that constantly do not clean up after themselves will not be allowed to eat outside. Be sure, once again, to stay in your seat. As for line time, as Mr. Hall said earlier, make sure that you have a signed planner and that your signed planner is easily accessible in case you're stopped by security or an administrator. No student should be leaving line time for any reason unless they have a signed pass from a teacher. Go to line time with the supplies you need. You will not be let back to your locker, all right? You'll not be allowed to go back to your locker to get supplies, all right? Work on that time management and organization. Go to line time with your supplies. Stay with one teacher and be on time.
Words are powerful. Some students think that posting on Snapchat will disappear and that they don't have to worry about what they say or the photos that they post. This is simply not true. Snapchat saves all data, and that data can be retrieved when it is necessary to do so. When you are angry or frustrated, we urge you to talk with your parents, a teacher, your counselor, or your administrator so that conflicts can be solved peacefully. Posting threatening messages can result in police involvement and in discipline consequences at school. Your dress code. Pictures and words written on clothing must be school appropriate. Clothing may not show private parts, underwear, or the midriff. Clothing may not be see-through or sexually provocative. Clothing must be appropriate for a learning environment. all of the dress code guidelines are printed for you in the front of your student planner. Did you know that the Liberty Middle School Honor Code was written by students? It was written by members of the SCA student organization. The Honor Code is printed in the front of your student planner. It reads, "On my honor, I pledge that I will neither give nor receive assistance on any assessment or assignment unless pre-approved by the teacher." Students are expected to act with honesty and integrity and to take credit only for their own work. Students who cheat diminish the entire educational process. Students who cheat can expect to have both an academic and discipline consequence. Today in Lion Time, you will be taking a short quiz on what you learned about SR&R in today's lesson. Your Lion Time teacher has the directions for the quiz and will be collecting a quiz from all students. Thank you for your attention to SR&R Updates today.